Hello everybody, this is Salar and you guys are welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. In this course, we are learning C Sharp step by step. In the last couple of lectures, we have been talking about characters and strings. Strings are actually characters. They are the combination of characters. We know how to create a string and character variables, manipulate the characters, but what we don't know is the reality of these characters. The reality of these characters are very interesting, and as a programmer, you need to know that reality. If you are an end user using any application or app, then you do not need to consider this reality about the characters that you see on your screen on daily basis. But as a programmer, you must know the ins and outs of the characters and their realities because you code them. You must know what are they and how they are treated by the machines. So let's dive deep into it. I will show you several on-screen diagrams to make this concept easy to understand for you. This lecture is all about Unicode. I'm not sure if you have heard the term Unicode or the term ASCII. ASCII is the old version and obsolete. Unicode is the enhanced version of ASCII, which is standard today. We will come to the point where we discuss the term Unicode during our discussion. So here comes the scenario. What if I say every character that you see on your digital screen is just a symbol? Symbol means it's just a drawing. You are surprised, right? But that is true. Every character that you see on your digital screen is just a symbol. We know and recognize the shapes of the characters. That's why our machines have mechanism to draw them for us. But when the time comes for the processing, these characters are converted to their binary codes. Let's have a demonstration of this process, and in the middle of the demonstration, we will catch Unicode. Let's say in a program, we have uppercase letter P that we wanna process in the computer memory. As we send the letter P to the computer for the process, it will be converted to its binary equivalent because computers can only process binaries. Now, after the processing, letter P is changed to letter Q, which is then sent back to the computer screen. Letter Q will also have its binary in the computer CPU, and when that binary is sent back to the screen, the letter Q symbol is drawn and you simply see the letter on the screen. This entire process can also be demonstrated using the code. Let me show you the process in the code and then we will come back to this discussion. In our code, I'm going to create a character variable which holds a letter P, and now I will change the letter P to letter Q. And bring the letter in the console. Let's run the program, and in the output you won't see letter P. What you see is letter Q. And so you see the output, right? What do you see? You see letter Q. So the letter P is changed during the processing. This line of code is actually doing the magic and we will discuss it later on. Let's first finish the discussion. Now, coming back to our discussion, where do we have the involvement of the Unicode in this entire process? If you don't get it, let me tell you. Ask yourself a question. How did our computers find out the binary code of the characters? For example, the binary of the letter P is 0101 and 4 zeros. The binary of the letter Q is 1010001. So how does our computers know the uppercase letter P is always converted in 01010000, and the binary 10100010 will always display uppercase letter Q. So how do our computers do all this conversion? They do that because of the Unicode table. In the Unicode table, we have all the characters and all the symbols documented. They have their octal values, decimal numbers, and code points. So in the background, our machines or computers use Unicode table to do the conversions back and forth. Here you see a much better diagram, a complete flow. When you wanna send the letter P to the computer for the processing, our computer will first contact with the Unicode table to get the code, the decimal code of that letter, and in our case the letter is P. The decimal of the letter P is 80, and decimal number 80 can easily be converted to its binary equivalent 01010000. And after the processing, when the letter P is converted into the letter Q, our computer will convert that binary into decimal and then once again consult with the Unicode table to get the character that represents that decimal number. In our case, the decimal of the Q is 81, which is then converted into the symbol Q. The process of getting the bytes value or the binary value is actually called encoding, and the reverse process is called decoding, where we convert the bytes value or the binary values back to the symbols. So our digital machines continuously do encoding and decoding in the background without letting you know. Unicode is a standard that assigns a unique number to every character in almost every language in the world. In addition, emojis, technical signs, and even the ancient languages have their representation in the Unicode. The main purpose of the Unicode is to provide a consistent way to represent text across all platforms and languages. Today, all the digital machines use Unicode to represent text and characters. I think now we have enough background, and I hope you guys got my point from the discussion. Let's now have a look at the structure of the Unicode table, and then we will do some experiments in the code. Open a browser window and search for Unicode table. That's it. And here I'm going to select the Wikipedia page, the list of Unicode characters. On this page, you can read more about the Unicode. I am going to scroll down to show you the Unicode table structure. In the table structure, we have a character, octal and decimal numbers of the character, and the code point. Code point is the position of a character in the table. Now, if I scroll down, you will see the Latin. Here we have the basic Latin characters, and we recognize them, most of them. For example, the space character has decimal 32, dollar has decimal 36, percentage sign has 37, and here we have the numbers. And this is even more interesting. When we write numbers in our program, they are also symbols. For example, 0 has 48, which is the decimal value. That means when you have 0 in your program, in the background, this 48 is actually converted into the binary. When we further scroll down, here we have our alphabets, English alphabets, uppercase. Uppercase alphabets start from 65 to 90, and the lowercase starts from 97 to 110, I think so, 122. So the uppercase and the lowercase letters are not same in the digital system because they have their own codes. And that's why where we do not allow automatic case conversion from lower to upper and upper to lower, our text will always show case sensitive behavior. Such as the password text is always case sensitive because the case conversion is not allowed there. However, in the username, case conversion is allowed automatically. So if you provide your username in lowercase or uppercase, there won't be any problem. But you cannot do that with the password. Password is always case sensitive. In the example code which I showed you earlier, we had a letter P with the decimal code 80. So what did I actually do? I added 1 to the 80 to get the value 81, and then I converted 81 back to the character. So we actually work with the decimal codes. If we further scroll down, you will see signs such as here we have pound sign and here we have a copyright sign, which we usually don't have on our keyboards. But using these decimal codes or even these code points, we can display these signs in our program. Let me show you some examples. How do we interact with this table before we wind up this lecture? In C#, every character is Unicode by default, so we do not need any extra setup. So what we are actually performing here, we are trying to add 1 to the ch. Ch is a character type variable with a character P. As we are trying to perform addition on a character, our compiler knows that every character has its decimal code. So before the addition, compiler will automatically get the code of that character. And in our case, the character is P and the code of the P is 80. And then the 1 is added to the 80, which results in 81. And after that, we are trying to convert this 81 back into the character using this typecasting. And that's why we see Q in the output. Let me show you another example. The decimal codes of uppercase letters start from 65. The letter A, the uppercase A has the code 65, and the last letter C has the code 90. Now, using these codes, we can print all the alphabets using a for loop. We will start our for loop from the 65 and run the loop up to 90. So we are looping through alphabet decimal values, and in the console, right, we will simply type convert all the codes like this, and now we put a comma in between the alphabets. In the first round, we will have 65, and this call will simply type convert the 65 into the character. So let's run the program, and you will see all the alphabets on the screen from A to Z. And so you see the output in the console, right? All the alphabets from A to Z. Let's have a couple of examples more. I don't have pound sign on my keyboard, but I can get the sign using code. And the code is 163. Let's run the program and check the output. And here you see the pound sign in the output, right? You can also do the reverse. If you have a character, you can simply get the code. Now, for example, I want to get the code of the add sign, so I will write something like this. I will see the code of the add sign. The code of the add sign is 64. Let's see what do we get in the console. And so you see the output, right? 64, which is the decimal code of the add sign. Now, all the characters which are listed in the Unicode table can be the part of the string, because a string is just a combination of characters and each character is Unicode in C#. Even the emojis can be the part of the string. For example, we have a string text, and now here I'm going to paste a string because I don't have characters on the keyboard. So I copied these characters from the Unicode. So here we have normal characters, Swedish characters, here we have Chinese characters, and here we have a single emoji. It's interesting, right? Now the last thing before we wind up this lecture is the use of the code points. You can also pick a character from the Unicode table and use it in your code using the code point. For example, this add sign has the code point U0040. So in our code, we will write like this. We will start with the backslash and then the entire code U0040. The backslash is important, is a part of the syntax, and right after that, you will write the entire code point. Now you will see the add sign in the output. Let's run the program and check the result. And here's the add point in the output, right? So my friends, that was a detailed lecture on Unicode, and now after taking this lecture, you must have realized that this is something important for you as a programmer. Now you have better idea how the characters are coded in the digital system. When you see a string like this, you can now automatically connect it to different concepts like the memory representation and the character coding. I will recommend do some research on the Unicode and some grease in the code. I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching this one.